My name is Jeff Kiel. I've resided in the town of Centreville for 23 years. I am married. I have 3 stepchildren, 6 grandchildren, and 2 great-grandchildren. I am currently employed as a firefighter, EMT firefighter with Queen Anne's County Department of Emergency Services, and I also am a member of Goodwill Fire Company, currently serving as a board of director, and have also held many other positions for the past 19 years. I'm currently a member of the Town Planning Commission. I previously served 2 years on the council, and that's pretty much it.
Steve?
Thank you. I'll echo Jeff's thanks to the League of Women Voters. Thank you for putting this on very much. We appreciate it. I'm Steve Kline. I've lived in Centreville since 2009. My wife, Kim, and I decided to raise our children here, which we are doing, 10-year-old twins, Alex and Emily. I have served on the town council since 2020. When I'm not doing that, I run a major regional nonprofit based in Easton. Before I started doing that, I served for about 20 years on Capitol Hill as a natural resources public policy professional. I'm originally from Baltimore County, where I grew up, the 7th generation of Marylander that has come from Baltimore County. I'm also an Eagle Scout in Troop 427 when I was 16 years old, something I'm still quite proud of achieving. I've got a bachelor's degree from St. Mary's College and a master's degree from Johns Hopkins. Both of those degrees are in political science. And I will say, if I'm lucky enough, fortunate enough to be reelected, this will be my final term. I do not intend to run again. So I'll make that pledge to everybody here in this room and all the voters and folks in Centreville. I appreciate your vote, and this will be it for me. I will limit myself to just 2 terms in the town council. Thank you very much. When I ran in 2020, I was the only candidate. There were 9 of us. I was the only candidate who talked about debt. We had, at the time, $17 million in debt and a town budget of about $5 million. Completely unsustainable to go on borrowing at that level. Since then, I have led the council, with the support of all of my fellows, to reduce that debt to $12 million, a $5 million reduction in debt in 3 years. And that's not just because we paid our notes on time, it's because we got an aggressive repayment schedule that paid them off far before they were done. We have to keep doing that. $12 million is still too much debt for Centreville. And in my time on the council, I have opposed every single effort. There hasn't been very many, but every single idea to borrow money, I've said no way. The town simply cannot afford it. So I think we need to keep fighting that debt battle and continue to be controlled in our spending, continue to make investments where we have to. I think it's important because, penny wise is often pound foolish in the long run. We've seen that. Both Jeff and I in our time on the council have seen how the cost-cutting measures of previous councils come back to cost far more in the future. My second priority would be the wastewater treatment plant, which is why I'm running again. Not only do we have to get a wastewater treatment plant built for the town of Centreville, it is my most sincere belief that we have to do it in a way that doesn't run into the same kind of cost overruns and unaccountability we saw on Commerce and Liberty Street. We cannot run the risk of that happening again, simply put. Once we get the wastewater treatment plant in the ground, we have to have in place the wastewater allocation policies. So when people come to us for the wastewater, we're not just giving it away. I don't want to be sitting here, I will not be sitting here, I don't want anybody to be sitting here in 10 or 15 or 20 years saying we need another new wastewater plant. There is a lot of growth, residential growth, that's being held back in Centreville right now because we have an easy out. We can say we don't have any wastewater capacity. It's very convenient. Once that plant is built, that excuse to say no, that reason to say no, goes away entirely. So we have to be really smart about how we give those allocations out. And really manage those allocations because they are finite and they have real value to the town. We have to manage them well. Those are my 2 priorities.
Jeff?
Number 1 priority is to get funding for the wastewater treatment plant. Like Steve said, we need a new plant, and we don't, like 20 years, we don't want to have to say we need another one. And Also, we need to find funding for, don't say I want to take a loan out for this, but we need to find funding somewhere for our aging infrastructure, town roads. Town roads, some roads are in the town have been falling apart for many years. Some of them should have been replaced in the 80s and are still not repaired. So I want to try to find a way to do that, and we also want to find ways to preserve funding for future infrastructure projects, capital projects. Like currently, right now, there are the top 6 roads in the town that need to be redone. I'm talking about from water and sewer all the way to sidewalk, curb and gutter and paving. The top 6, the cost is $5.6 million. And there's already 15 more roads on the list that need to be fixed or repaired or some sort of structural problem that they need to be repaired. So, and my number 2, like Steve, I want to keep the debt down. We don't need any more debt. We like I said, we got it down to 12 million, along with me when I was sitting on council and the previous council have gotten it way down, and we would like to get it really a whole lot lower than that. So continuously get the debt down.
All right, gentlemen, the second question is, please describe your vision of Centreville 10 to 15 years from now, and please be specific. And Jeff, your turn to go first.
My plan for 10 or 15 years is to see some more growth, not overgrowth, some more growth, more businesses. We have a lovely business park out there. We just worked on a new comprehensive plan, so all that will also allow some more growth. I don't want to see 20,000 people living in the town of Centreville, but we also need more residents in the town to attract businesses, because most businesses are population-based businesses. So they said, all right, we're not going to come to Centreville because you don't have the population. I don't want all kinds of businesses I don't want a Walmart or a Target or whatever in the town of Centreville, but we need smart growth too, and that hopefully we can do that in the next 10 or 15 years.
Steve?
Sure. First and foremost, in 10 or 15 years, this is still a place we all recognize as home. That's high on my list of priorities. I moved here because of the quality of life, period. Let's protect that. Let's do all we can to protect that. I would like to see some growth in the town. I would like the majority of that growth to happen east of Route 213. So between 213 and 301. Think where the high school is, south of the high school. I think when you think about growth east of 213, you think about folks who can get home without getting on 213. They don't have to come through downtown to get home. They can take 304, where the state has invested substantial sums in a roundabout and the traffic infrastructure to get them home. I think we have a new wastewater plant that has plenty of allocations left. We haven't grown ourselves into the same kind of hole we're in now. We also have an allocation fund, and I want to stress this. I insisted in my time on the council that we create an allocation trust fund. So every time you build a house or connect to our sewer in Centreville, it's about $14,500. And this town has got a long history of using those allocation fees from Symphony Village, from Northbrook, to keep utility rates artificially low. And now we are paying the piper for those decisions. So this council, with the help from staff, created an allocation trust fund. So if we grow and you spend $14,500 on an allocation, that allocation is held and reserved only to be used for investments in the wastewater system. Imagine if we would have done that with the 400 units in Northbrook and the 400 units in Symphony Village. We would not be scrambling to pay for a new wastewater plant. We would not be sitting on 21 road and sewer projects because we would have the funding necessary to make those investments. I think, we need to protect the community feel of Centreville. I'd like to see an expanded trails network. We're working on that as council. I know Jeff supports this as well, has invested in the trail system north of Symphony Village to connect to our mill stream. We have a trails master plan I would like to see implemented as well. That is what I think the next 10 to 15 years of Centreville should look like. Well, thanks again to the league. I appreciate it. There's not a ton of daylight in the policy of the two guys sitting up here, and I would argue there's probably not a ton of daylight in the three candidates. If you'd like a town council member who is professional and polite, respectful, and can disagree without being disagreeable, I think I'm your guy. I approach the job with gravity and in a serious way. I've served on the Planning Commission as a liaison for 2 years, and keep an open mind and take a thoughtful approach. And as I said at the outset, you know, this will be my final 3-year term if I'm fortunate enough to get reelected. But whoever you vote for, at least turn out and vote on October the 2nd. It's really important. But thank you, and I appreciate the chance to earn your vote.
Jeff?
Yeah, I agree with Steve. I ran for council because I wanted to learn more about the town, and I did learn a lot about the town, about how much debt we're in, how bad the infrastructure is, how many employees we didn't have that we do now. So I want to carry that forward and continuously grow the town. Not the town in general, like in growth, but the town workforce. I said I think this previous council has actually put aside money in the budget to train our employees or their employees so they don't have to outsource things like for a water or sewer leak now. They can have people that can control it now. And also, I'd appreciate your vote on October 2nd. Like I said, I've learned a lot about the town, and I want to continuously try to fix the town in the future. So I'd appreciate your vote on October 2nd, and thank the League of Women Voters again for putting this forum on.
Thank you, gentlemen. The League of Women Voters of Queen Anne's County would like to thank the candidates for their participation in tonight's forum, the audience,